Hello, lovely people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and this is Evolve Chit. It's my little corner of the world where I like to talk about spirituality, metaphysical stuff, universal laws, and psychology. So today I'd like to provide a bit of an energy update using a couple of oracle decks. So I have been stewing on or reflecting upon over the past few days this idea of what is really the intention of a spiritual journey, or in my case, I was thinking about my spiritual journey, and to understand, like what we're here to learn or here to deepen into as far as knowledge of the self and self discovery and our place on the planet at this time and what our contributions are, and are we in alignment with that. So it's just been something I've been reflecting upon, but further just reflecting on the last few years of my life and the role of key energetic dynamics, especially relationships or connections or situations, and what were they all about. So I wanted to lay some cards out here just to help those who might be resonating with this, and so you can learn a bit more about where you're at in your process of connecting with your higher self or your God self. Where are you in alignment with, what your soul's intention is in this existence? So I hope that this is useful and that it inspires you and creates some deeper level of self-awareness. So today I'm using two decks. One is the Wisdom Oracle, or Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid, and the other is Believe in Your Own Magic, and that is by Amanda Lovelace. And these two decks, I really like using them together. So I did another Celtic Cross layout today. I've just been really liking that layout lately. So the card that'll be on the bottom is the Wisdom of the Oracle. I don't even know what it's called. That deck, and the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle cards. That card will be the one that clarifies. Just so we're on the same page here. So the card that first came out, that is representing, who you are right now, the energy that you're in and what you're standing in. That card is Imagine. And it's representing the answer to this question of, why are we here? And when you tap into that higher self, when you hook into your that 5D connection, it feels like a dream. And this is when your gifts, your psychic gifts, are incredibly heightened too. Another way to relate to this is when we hear someone say, get your head out of the clouds. So it's here within this space that you are connecting to your higher self and you're in a higher vibration. It feels a little effortless and light. So this is the imagination state. And when you're in this space, you can connect to energies that are intended for your highest good or not so good. So that's where you can discern where your energy's at and what you are vibrating with in the moment. So this is the importance of meditation, or finding some time for stillness, some space for stillness, so you can connect to your source, your God self. And within that space, you can more deeply attune to your soul's essence and align with what your truth is in any situation or just in general in life. And you can use your imagination to guide you. And what do you dream of, and what really has you feeling that positive energy, which literally feels like a vibration. You can feel like you're vibrating, like when you're dancing or singing along to your favorite feel-good songs. So you chose this path to remember who you are, and that we are this energy, this light, this imagination, that is the purest, beautiful, loving essence of a being, of a light being. And we've incarnated in a body, our physical self, and we're just like cucumbers, growing in the garden, and we nurture and love the plant, and we want the cucumber to thrive and grow and experience life to the fullest, which is for cucumbers being a delicious cucumber. And we're kind of the same way. We're intelligent cucumbers. We're here to love and nurture ourselves, and as individuals, that's what we're here to do. For ourselves, for our soul is utilizing this physical self as the vehicle. So this is the remembrance of that, who you are at your core, like who your truest essence is. You're not just your body, you're not just your brain or your mind. And then the reminder with the Believe in Your Own Magic card is that's clarifying. The Imagine card is a spaceship, and it's a beautiful card with two mermaids, and it says, "Don't be afraid to sing, and sing with your truest self, your authentic voice, a voice that is not spoken or used, that is brought on by low vibe stuff or low vibe beliefs. We are speaking in our authenticity and being our truest self. So that's why you're here. And this is validation that this is your awakening, and you're seeing that at your core, you are a light being and experiencing this physical form. You can see more clearly when you were using your thoughts and words in ways that were not productive, and are seeing that it was brought on by your negative beliefs, that things that were taught that came from a place out of fear. So you're vibing with this kind of content because you have a deeper understanding that you are here to achieve the highest vibration you possibly can and transcend, the 3D world BS. And that's pretty cool awareness to have. So the cards to the left of this card, I view this as energy from the most recent past, or areas that you had maybe stuck in, or that you're moving out of, like a cycle or a pattern. So, and that card is time to let go. And you saw that perhaps you've been caught up in a cycle of obsessive thoughts or numbing out in other ways, but you had this epiphany over the past few weeks and can see where you're thinking and some residual energy that's been like stored up in your like chakras or energy centers where it was stuck, and you could feel it physically. And I'm even feeling like a sense of relief right now that you may be sensing the release of some pent up energies. So I feel like for some of you that was a major release of tension in your solar plexus chakra, and it was around confidence and self-confidence and feeling uncertain if any of what you thought or have been experiencing is real. So perhaps you're even seeing where your trauma created these stories or beliefs that were keeping you stuck. So you're seeing where you've been operating out of unhealthy aspects of your attachment style or trauma, and can see that while it was working, you just weren't as high functioning or as high vibe as you are capable of being. So there was just something that kept you a little stuck, and a lot of it had to do with the inability to let go, because you believe that these were the things that were kind of holding you up, or the pillar of what you were. But most of us were operating from a manual that was written on inherited and informed and perceived beliefs, or trauma informed beliefs, and it was time to let those things go. So you can see you don't need to keep yourself stuck here anymore, and you can see that you don't need to keep yourself locked in a time that's no longer here, just the memory of it perhaps, or holding on to that memory, or holding on to that fear because of the fear of it happening again. And while it could, it's likely it won't, because you know better, and now you're in charge. So it's time to heal those aspects of you, and perhaps like you're starting to forgive yourself for how you treated yourself, and maybe even others too. You're seeing where maybe you have been less than kind because you are seeing that people are acting out of their trauma as well, and their highest level of emotional intelligence. So you're letting that go too, or at least considering like releasing some grudges or things that you held so tightly that were not healthy for you energetically, things that kept you tense or anxious. So you can see the value in letting them go, because you are creating healthier boundaries now, because you have an increased self-awareness and you are creating your own narrative. So as you continue to clear that energy and raise your belief of that narrative, you will continue to feel a lightness in your chakras and your energy centers. And that's the card that's clarifying this card. It's take control of your own narrative, and that's really cool. And that's when you realize that maybe you're victimizing yourself here. The world can be shitty, and yeah, I get it. Like sometimes bad things happen to good people, but now you're in charge. It's things that are happening on your watch. And how are you showing up for you? And how are you showing up for that, maybe that wounded or hurt inner child that is often coming out when we're feeling triggered? And perhaps something negative, happened, and you can see where that has shaped your belief system, and that informs your behaviors and creates your behavioral patterns. So, and you can see this now, and you're starting to take control of your own narrative and how you respond to things outside of you. And with this greater awareness and stepping into the realization of that, yeah, you're a light being and you're here to experience this to the fullest and, transcend up that energetic cord, and get to the highest, vibrational essence. You're standing, like you're more sure-footed, and becoming more confident in who you are and what you're here to experience. So you may still have some questions and are a little like, well, what's this really all about? Did I imagine this or, make it up? And, you're still learning more so about that and feeling confident there. And sometimes you may occasionally slip into old patterns, like watching a lot of tarot readings or maybe taking them too seriously or ruminating over things. But you're starting to catch yourself faster. So you're not allowing yourself to go to those negative places in your mind, or having negative assumptions about things. So if you do go there, you're catching it faster, and you're experiencing less of that triggering because you're seeing that was just a belief, and perhaps even seeing how you relied on certain things like seeking out information about topics like spirituality or twin flames, or checking in on someone's social media all the time, or whatever it was that you were doing to numb out or cover up that wounded space, or to fill a void. You're realizing that you are the one who is there to fill that void and love yourself unconditionally, and that you're the one that is here to give you everything you need, and that those that you come across and the experiences that you have are just here to deepen you onto your path of self-discovery here. And with this building of your self-confidence, you're going to continue to have, you'll see, you're having a little more grace for yourself and for others, and that's coming from a place of having greater poise and self-awareness. So you're finding that those triggers are lessening, and while you still may have them, you'll see them and be like, oh, okay, well, let me just pause for a second before I overthink this or make a judgment, and really just be like more, or along the lines of like, all right, well, that's what it is, but I know who I am and I'm okay and moving along. So it's really cool when you have those little victories like that, where maybe something at work or with a friend or a family member or a situation could have triggered you before. It's so cool to reflect on that and see your growth, even in tiny situations. Like I've done this with situations, and previously I could have been hung up on stuff in a pattern or a spiral that could have lasted like a month or more, and now I can see it like as a trigger, and I can ask myself when I'm feeling that. For me, I usually feel it in my solar plexus or in like my heart or throat chakras. But I learned that when I get tapped into what I'm feeling, I can check in to see if it's just like emotional baggage and negative stuff or beliefs, or is it something I really need to handle? So just allows you to get connected to your energy more consistently so you can tap into what's going on. And same for you. I mean, your focus on your self-care and self-awareness has you discerning better and faster, rather than going down the rabbit holes like to scary places. So your confidence levels are increasing, and probably even at higher than they have ever been. It's because you're recognizing you're not allowing yourself to get carried away by those things anymore. You're really seeing who you are. You know your value. You know your worth. And the next card is Clean It Up. And in the reading placement of it's how you're presenting yourself to the world, your mindset, your personality. And the card that's clarifying that is Remember to Practice Self-Love. And with these two together, this is just a time to unconditionally practice, or unapologetically practice self-love, and more deeply be in love with yourself. Taking all that energy and love that you put out there into the world and to other people, especially in a way that may have been excessive, or in a way to want to get something out of it or in return, or some sort of validation. But maybe it just wasn't necessarily an authentic feeling of love. It was just wanting, someone to protect you, or give you a feeling of security. And the thing is that that can be nice at times. You don't need that validation. You would want a more authentic relationship. So all of that love that you feel you may have put out there in a way that was excessive and not authentic, or in an effort to validate you or fill a void, start to bring that back into yourself. And it's really going to allow you to be more available to other people. It's not selfish. It's really an act of self-care. If there have been things or outpourings or projections that have been done to get something out of fear rather than out of love, so something conditional rather than unconditional. So bring that all back, that love that you put into other people for validation in a conscious or an unconscious manner. As you pour that back into yourself and your vision and your dreams, you will see more magnetized into your life that is in alignment with you and your vision. And I feel that that is already happening for many of you, and that there's just this glow about you. And perhaps you even had people say to you, you look fitter or healthier, or, maybe people are commenting on your outfit or your hair or your shoes or something, but you're being seen. And as you continue to align with your higher self, more of that will come in and more optimal experiences will come with it. So when stuff comes in that doesn't feel good or right, you'll know, and you'll be able to make healthier and better choices for you. And the card that's to the right of the center is No Place Like Home. And the card that's clarifying that is the sun. It says, paint the sun back into your sky. So you may have found yourself and find yourself wanting to spend more time at home, the physical aspect of home, and creating the space and the environment that feels more conducive to who you are and what you need to surround yourself in. As you spend more time with your inner home, your inner kingdom, your internal world, and you're reflecting and spending more time with yourself. So you're setting up a space that will feel more supportive for where you are in your growth. And also, I feel like that this is going to bring in more opportunities for entertaining at home and inviting people in who you value and trust. And it's creating a sacred space for more meaningful connections. So it feels like you'll be meeting more like-minded people virtually or in the real world, who are also on the same path of self-discovery as you. Now, the cards to the right of in the spread here, I look at them as energies you are stepping into or more possibilities that are ahead for you. And the first card is Higher Power. And to me, this is about your continued self-awareness of the God self within and connecting with your higher self, connecting with your higher consciousness, and tapping into that well of higher knowledge. And that will allow you to be more confident in your choices going forward of all those, you're finding all of those answers within you. And I love that the card clarifying it is Voyage. You already have all the answers. That card clarifying the Higher Power card is validation that as you continue to go within and are reflecting now, that doesn't mean you're going into a cave and like being a monk and disappearing for 10 years, but spending 10 minutes twice a day really allows you to center and connect with that energy within you. And there will be days, like for me, the other day, I caught myself, I was having a tough day. It was just a lot going on. It was stressful, and some of it was emotional, and was really not in a good place. And I caught myself and I was like, wow, when your energy can get really wild. And I could see where I was triggered and my energy was all over, and I needed to release that, and did so with some physical activity. But I also needed to reflect on it too, to help me see how I reacted to the trigger. And there were things that I really liked when that energy showed up, because it showed me that I could be fearless, but also it could be like, oh wow, like that's the cranky kid in me. And it just showed me where I needed to clean up my stuff. And then when things do come up, like things that you can't control, or what people do, or what's going on in the world and the news, it can be like, all right, well, stuff is crazy, but, we can just be a part of the solution. And how can I be a part of the solution? By making sure that, we're keeping a clean mindset and being focused on our stuff, values, vision, mission, and, what can we do to be of service to others? And staying in that 5D space as much as we can, because that's where the shared field of energy is. And And that's where we are all hanging out in our energetic projection. So whether we realize that or not, our energy, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, we're sharing that energy field. So that's what this is about, and tapping into the God self, the higher self, your higher knowledge and knowing, because that's where the answers are, and they are there. And this reading has been validation of that for you. So the next card is Fork in the Road, and the clarifying card is Evil Queen. And this is actually a really cool card. It says, you deserve sugar, not salt. And what I love about this clarifying over Fork in the Road is that it's your increased awareness, this continued knowledge, inner knowing that you've been kind of an asshole to yourself. And when we're being unkind to ourselves, we tend to reflect that onto our situations and other people. So no one is immune to this. Like, I don't care who you are, it's true. We all do it. So this is why it's important for us to see where we're being unkind to ourselves, where we're victimizing ourselves because of past circumstances or things that we perceive or believe about what we're supposed to look like or be or do or have or whatever. And aspirations and ambitions are really good. They're great. But when it's done in a way that is intended to be divisive or unhealthy, we really need to check our intentions. So it's important to be honest with yourself and see where you might be toxic, not just to other people, but to yourself. And that's what this fork in the road is. It's that point where you have this awareness where you have been not so kind to yourself, and you're seeing where maybe you haven't been so kind to others. And the last card here and the possible outcomes is Blessed. And it clarifies, the clarifying card is Flower, and that is to be honest with yourself. And the thing that's amazing about this is that your ability to be more honest with yourself about your shit, what may have been stirring up or creating or causing within you or in your life, whether it is victimizing yourself or what you allowed other people to do to you, like encroach upon your energy or boundaries, or how you perceived or what you believed about others. You're just seeing this level of awareness as a real blessing now. It's a real present. And that's further clarified by the Flower card, by being honest with yourself and being honest with yourself so you can see where you have really been in charge and where your beliefs create your circumstances and create your desired outcomes. So you're realizing that you really are more powerful than you used to believe. And you are seeing this as a real blessing, although sometimes it can definitely feel like a real curse. It really is a blessing. I know when I had this awareness, I was a little hard on myself. I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking then? Like when I was stuck up in these like obsessive patterns and thinking and so on. Like, what was I doing? Oh my God. Like I, even though I feel like I'm a good person and a nice person, I could see where I was not being a good person or a nice person, or I had expectations. And that was so much is rooted in what, we are shown and taught and programmed to be. And and while we need rules of engagement in this world, because it's, we're a pretty big society, but not necessarily everything that we've ever been taught or told or programmed to believe is really true. It's just stuff that we agreed to believe to be true. So, and I think we're seeing more awakening and people discovering like deeper self-awareness, because we are seeing as a society that some things aren't working, and it's creating just too much division. Which is impacting our planet, and that ripples, outwardly through the galaxies. So I believe this is an awakening that's necessary for all of us, and it is a true blessing. So now is the time we need to be honest with ourselves and others and come together to find ways we can address things more peacefully, more efficiently, more effectively, and equitably, because we can. And in many ways, the collective we is choosing not to, but we know we can. We know we are the change we wish to see in the world. So the last card I have here, and I normally don't do this with the Celtic cross spread, but I just felt like there needed to be one more card. And so when I feel like that, I pull the card from the bottom of the deck and I call it the Wish card. And the card that came out is the Soulmates card. And I feel that this card has a couple of different meanings. So, and it's really cute. It has two penguins on it. So many of us who are on this journey, it was initiated by a person that we were seeking like an incredibly deep connection with, because we wanted somebody to understand us, and perhaps maybe looking for somebody to fill those gaps that felt like they needed to be filled. Or I kind of look at it at this term kintsugi, which is the Japanese art of using gold to repair things that have been broken, like a broken vase, or a bowl or a plate or something like that. So I did a painting. It's kind of abstract, called Kintsugi Heart, and it represents the heart. And then I use gold paint to illustrate the filling of cracks and breaks in the heart. So I feel for many of you resonating with this, you're seeing that you were looking for someone or something outside of you to validate you, and be the gold to fill in those cracks in your heart. And in this process, you're learning that this truest, highest essence of love is when we have come to accept who we are, our brokenness and everything. And even when we don't accept ourselves or love ourselves, that's when we need to accept and love ourselves the most. And that first and foremost, you are your own soulmate. You are your own twin flame. And when we are vibrating at our highest level, just vibrating in general, you magnetize in based on your vibration. So you will magnetize in accordingly. So that's what this journey has been about. That situation or person who triggered you was intended to help you return back to you, and help you get back into a higher level of self-awareness of who you are as a being, as a light being. And when I realized this, and what resonated for me, and when it resonated for me, it was really powerful, because if I'm honest with myself, there were a couple of people who came before the person who I believe is my soul counterpart, or my twin flame. And when I was with these other people, when energies came together, we were both highly triggered, but I didn't really see it for what they were. I just was like, oh, these are just relationships between men and women. But upon reflection, I could see the patterns. So that's why, if you're new to your spiritual path, or if you're resonating with that twin flames label, or because you're in the middle of your ego death, and you're processing and trying to figure things out, maybe you're obsessing over someone or something, but it's really important not to put labels on it. It's like, okay, you're here, and the person or situation brought you to this place. So, but that's what you were intended to experience and to do. And I have to tell you, the faster that you recognize this and see it for what it was or for, it's incredibly empowering and actually really powerful. So, so I do post a lot of resources and other videos that are here to help you get into soul faster, as the coaches say. And these are the things that have helped me, and that I learned and applied along the way. And I just found them incredibly useful. So it did take me some time to work through some of these things, because I had some stuff I had to deal with. But once I got consistent with it, and I was just reading and studying and applying and practicing and figuring things out that worked for me, I just felt like I wanted to share things that worked for me and helped me along the way. So this is with the intent that these things are useful for you too. So I will post links in the comment section of this video with just all sorts of useful resources. And of course, it all begins with your self-concept. So I encourage you to go to my website and check out the free ebook, The 7-Day Mindset Reset, on the Get Started page. And it will, just help you get into alignment with who you are and what you want to experience while you're here in this life. So check that out, evolvedchit.com, and the Get Started page. So this is just a reminder that you are loved, you are necessary, and you are really needed right now. So step into your power. And until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and good vibes for your journey. Bye.